And we're live. Hi. Hello. Welcome to the Dev Support Office Hours. It's Monday. It's 11:35 a.m. on June the 23rd. It's the June 23rd edition of the Dev Support Office Hours. I'm Bob. That's Alex.
Hello.
That's Matt.
Killing our little guy here. What?
Matt's doing things in the back. You may notice we have audio today. Sound great. Joining me from the internet in various locations, people like this guy, Cohen Hacking, everybody.
Yeah.
Adam White, developer from a bunker somewhere in the Culver City area, Mr. Jared Jager.
Hello.
A new dad and developer of Super Pick Alo, Mr. Phil Rivera.
Hey.
And as always, the illustrious Mr. Tim Graupmann.
Hey.
So we can start out as we always do. QA is open over here, or it might be here, depending on how you're looking at things. So ask questions if you have them. And until such questions come in, we will start off, as we always do, with a segment we like to call with Doherty.
Yeah, pretty quick one this week. When you publish a game, you should make sure that it's available everywhere under the region settings. We've had a few folks publish and they're like, "Where's my game?" And they had marked it available nowhere at all. So it was invisible to everybody. So just make sure your region settings are accurate.
Why do we even have that option?
I don't know. People don't want to release in foreign countries or whatever.
They call it a
dealing with I don't know.
Well, you can do available nowhere.
That's true.
Well, you know you can't get Wolfenstein in Germany.
See?
Really?
That's why we do it.
On Steam, you can't buy it in Germany.
Why?
Because it's Wolfenstein?
Yeah, it's Nazis, man.
I'm on fire.
You can't do anything Nazis in Germany. I remember this when I was at EA, when I was a QA tester. If your game has any visible swastika in the game at all, you go to jail. In fact, the marketing manager, I think back in the day, almost went to jail because one slipped into one of the games. And we were paid a bounty in QA for $50 every time we found one when we were doing the final Germany QA passes of the game. So you would use cheats. You would zoom in on passports. You would look at like armbands. You would look at any kind of little thing. For some reason, they couldn't go in and remove the core assets, so you had to find them individually placed in the textures on the walls and in maps, and make sure each one was removed, and an artificial made-up country flag was put in its place.
So was were there like artists sneakily sneaking them into like weird places?
No. They were desperately trying to pull them out, just like everyone else.
Yeah.
They're super tight about violence too.
Yeah, there's a lot of blood and guts kind of stuff. Varies from country to country as well.
Yeah, green blood usually in Germany, no dismemberment as well. So when we worked on a ninja game back in the day where you use this ninja wire to cut people in half, you would end up clotheslining these ninjas in the game, and they would just fall over. They wouldn't cut in half. It looked really weird, even though your wire went through them, but that's what you had to do for Germany.
Is Duck Game allowed in Germany?
I'm pretty sure it's just available anywhere.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Tell
Sneak
us
it by.
Until someone complains.
There's no Nazi ducks though.
That's true.
So we're good. Okay, well, let's take this time to shift over to this guy who we all know and love, Mr. Tim Graupmann, for a segment we like to call Grok with Graupmann.
All right. Yeah, I got some stuff here. Let me share my screen again. And theoretically, okay, there's my OUYA. But I was doing some stuff in Modo that's useful for like doing level design for any game, like when you want to add your level. And I learned the skills of using Boolean operations. So I was going to maybe make a little level for you guys and show you my process for making a little thing that I fly through or whatever. So when I get started, first I was going to a top view, and this general process is going to work for any modeling program. And I just went and I made a cube. But first, before I make a cube, I need to set the size. So just scale the cube, and then you decide on a general area of like how big your scene's going to be. And I was going with like 500 units. Okay, and then just kind of focus on that, and then deselect those polygons, flip it around, and delete the other ones. Okay, so now I have this box. It's awesome, and I just set this as like my bounding area for where I'm going to make things. And now when I do a new mesh layer, I can work on stuff, and I have a nice white line for where to keep my art inside of. And depending on your modeling program, I go in and I set my the inactive meshes to wireframe mode, so I get that line, and I can specify the line color so that it's easy to see. All right, and then now I'm ready to get started. So the first thing I was doing was I make this layer called, well, for paths, or the cutter, which I'll use for the Boolean operation. And then I define like some roads. So this is my world, and I've got this, what is the tool even called? The tube primitive, where I can set it as high polygon as I want. I kind of go with low polygon, so I get a low poly model. And then I just defined a radius, so like 100 millimeters. There we go. And I just put some roads, general roads that go through my little level. Here we go. All right, so that then I know to model around these paths. So when I make the geometry, maybe one more down here. Okay. And then the next thing I use is this pen tool thing. And I kind of always use the same general spacing when I'm setting vertex points so that it's just consistent. So I need a new mesh, and this will be my original art. So I have like a layer for the original art, and then I duplicate it to the art that I'm going to make holes in case I don't like where the holes are later, and I can cut those holes later on. Okay, and now with the pen tool and my layer, I can go in and I can block out my level, kind of from the overhead, build like a little cityscape for how it might look. Okay, and do a few more. Here we go. And just fill the areas, and then I'm going to have roads in the places where you see the tubes. So I'm modeling around that to leave space for the character to like run around or something.
Mm.
And hey.
So you don't have to color within the line, Tim?
No, I'm not coloring in the lines that time because just because I'll cut a hole through it.
That's cool. That's cool.
I did that totally on purpose. Not really, but there we go. Okay, so then you have these basic shapes, and I'll just move it a little bit so it fits. I can also like move the points too. So if I don't get it in the lines initially, jeez. Okay, whatever. It's gonna be right there like I intended. Okay, so now if I switch to a perspective view, I can kind of see that, okay, I've got a flat layer, and then it's time to kind of grow them. So then my next step is to select all the points. And I just usually use the bevel tool, which lets me grow or shrink. Okay, and first thing I notice is when I go one direction, they're all shrinking except for this one guy. So for him, drop the tool really quick, and I select him, and I go to the scale tool, and I just flip him on the Y minus 100, and then flip his polygons. And now, when I use the bevel tool, they should be all in the same uniform. They're not. All right, well, anyways, Forget about that. Doesn't matter. Okay. Now I'm going to grow the geometry with the bevel tool. So I kind of make it a little bit smaller and then raise it, and I'm starting to add geometry. And so I grow this about that far. Shift click to reapply, and I can grow a few different segments. Make them slightly different sizes. There we go. Grow the bottom here. Shift click, grow it a little bit more. Cool. Start to build the okay. Raise this guy.
I'm scared, Tim. What is this world?
It's just like a mountain area. Okay, cool. So now we have kind of like a scene with some stuff in it. And now I usually duplicate the original art because I'm going to use the Boolean operations to cut some holes in it. Duplicate, here we go. I hide my original layer. I can hide the cutter stuff because I'm going to make some new paths. Okay. And then I'll add a new mesh layer for tunnels. Here we go. Okay, and if I do a top view again, I can put some paths for walking through the geometry. So the character could like walk around the big mountain rock things, or they could just walk straight through them. So connect some of the pieces.
So what? This is Modo?
Yeah, but
What?
I mean, Boolean operations are really part of any modeling program, even Blender.
So what is a Boolean operation, Tim?
Okay, almost there.
Oh, you're still showing me what a Boolean operation is.
Yeah. Okay, so the Boolean operation is actually going to cut tunnels through the rocks I have here.
Oh, I already have this.
Okay, and I can do it on the ground plane to say like, okay, they're all at the same level if you had like, I don't know, a transit system or something. Before I do a Boolean operation though, I need to close off these shapes because they don't have bottoms. So I just double click on the edge and put a polygon there for each of these to close them. Okay. And now we can see, okay, so I probably want the tunnels to be a little higher. Okay, like that. Okay, and then now I select the layer that I'm going to cut. So this is my, I usually call this export because I can export from this final geometry as an OBJ file and then into whatever engine I want. And now for the cool trick that I learned. Here we go. So we go mesh edit, Boolean,
This is it.
subtract.
Uh-huh.
All right, export not closed. I just have to go like this for a second.
Snap.
Geometry, vertex, merge, and that'll merge all the points together so there's no holes. Vertex, merge.
This is
Okay.
super disappointing.
Now, Boolean, subtract, export not closed. I must have missed one of them. Okay, so I can do them one at a time too. I learned this trick. So if for some reason you don't have geometry that's closed, here we go. We'll try one at a time. All right. Tell me you'd like this one. Come on. It's telling me I've got a hole. Well, that's interesting. It's got a weird edge thing. Okay, hang on.
Is this an edge case, Tim?
Yes, it is an edge case.
Oh, it's so funny. Can you think of
I did practice this 2 times, and it worked just fine.
No.
like I'm Boolean into the left?
There we go. All right.
No.
Now tell me you want to Boolean that.
I'm not muted.
This is making me hungry for soup.
man. But that's not what we're doing.
What shape did he start with?
A Boolean.
That's
So it's
square.
a Boolean cube.
All right, let's.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
Boolean cube.
All right, let's start with a basic box. It definitely has to do that one.
Wait, Tim, what is happening?
Okay, I'm gonna mesh edit. I'm gonna Boolean this guy. Bounding area. I left
Bro, sub
my
with
bounding area on.
Do you
Okay. Oh man.
Tim, L2 Boolean, man. So much pressure. I'm sorry, Tim. I'm just kidding.
That's all right. Okay.
And
I don't know. It's supposed to work. It's supposed to work. And it would just picture it creates a hole in there,
Hey,
right
Tim.
through the object.
Tim, can you just load one you made earlier?
Oh yeah, sure. I could do that. Okay. Well, I used this process a bunch of times. This is the first one I did.
the mic's super powerful, by the way.
What the
Yeah. So you can see if I go to wireframe mode.
Look at them Booleans.
All right, that's really hard to see.
Check them Booleans out.
There we go. So you can see I had cut holes through all this different geometry using the same process. But of course, because it's live, it's not working perfectly. But anyways, yeah. And then these are areas that I could fly through.
Cool.
All right. Well, you can talk on some stuff, and I'll let you know when it's working.
Okay. Are the Booleans like that this pentagonal
just the shape
tunnel,
you
or
use.
you can just whatever shape?
You can cut any shape you want. All right. When
A star shape,
like I had done a basic sphere.
a crescent moon.
Okay, so here's a sphere, and then I had done a cube. And I can cut a cube shape out of the sphere
Get out of here.
by doing mesh edit. And maybe you have to be on the polygon mode, but Boolean subtract. There.
Whoa.
And it cut a hole right into that geometry. So it's a cool way to model. They show like making helmets with this, or and it just depends on which way you want to cut it. Or you can cut a box out of the sphere.
Cool, man.
There we go.
Ooh.
So now you've got a Pac-Man guy.
So, what is this program?
Well, this is Modo, but Boolean operations are common for like Blender and a lot of the modeling tools too.
How much is Modo?
$14.95.
Oh, that's not bad. Is it like a yearly subscription, or you just
No, just one time, and it does modeling, painting, topography, UVing, like animating and rendering. So you can render movies and animations right out of it. It's basically like all the tools you need.
Can you
all
like
in one.
take the character creator from Mixamo and like drop that once you created it into here to like texture it, or?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So you
Cool.
can texture it, and you can animate your Mixamo character in Modo to do like custom things, because you'll grab a basic walking animation, and say you have a character that has to walk to a table and then pick up a cup. So you do the picking up the cup, you'd extend in a modeling program to do the custom stuff. So like the motion cap part of your animation is usually like 80% of the work, and then 20% is like supplementing your motion capture with manually placing characters.
Neat. Neat.
Still have the tie guy from last week.
Oh yeah, that's your kid you were making, right?
I got it textured. There we go.
Yeah.
And I can click. That's item mode.
This is in Moto as well.
Yep. But all modeling programs have that can do animation have locators, and that you'd use the same rig bone structure to do your various things.
Cool.
And these locators have weights attributed to the geometry, so it knows when you're moving the locator what to affect.
Hmm.
And you can pose your guy.
Cool, man. Maybe next week we can, what would be next? Could we, put something into an APK and just throw it on OUYA to test really fast, or is that, a few episodes out?
No. I could import a mixed mode character running around.
Yeah.
And publish that guy on the OUYA so he's running around in the OUYA.
Cool. I'm excited. I have a question for Jared. Uh-oh.
What's up?
I should be like, so yeah, what do you think, Jared? As if Jared wasn't following along.
Ha! Are you trying to call on me like a student who wasn't paying attention in class?
Jared, what do you think about what I just said? No, I didn't say anything.
I think bouillon is delicious.
I was gonna ask if you had any cool, interesting news to share.
Ooh, news. As far as games that will be coming out this week, or I guess this is kind of dev and gamer focused, since everyone could be a developer on OUYA. We got Double Dragon Trilogy hitting the OUYA tomorrow morning, and we also have the soft launch of Super Awesome Mega Fight. I'm actually pronouncing that correctly, but that one's going to be launching with a 33% sale for its launch week. Natural Soccer, since it's World Cup season time, is also going to be on sale for 40% starting tomorrow, and Galaxoid will be on sale for 50% starting tomorrow. So give me some more fun summer sales coming our way. On the dev front, though, that does remind me to tell people that if you do want to participate in a sale, feel free to hit me up, and to participate in one, you must have a promoted product in place, which would be your entitlement for the game. That's what allows us to change the tile on the storefront and put the % off up there. Otherwise, if you put your game on sale and you change the price yourself, there's no way to kind of visually make that change unless you wanted to go about submitting an update and changing your tile art for that period, which is much more of a hassle than letting us do it for you. And that way we can also schedule in properly so that you can get future placement during that sale time. So those are the big things going on for this week. As mentioned before, the Indiecade submissions timer ended on June 15th. But if you did submit and no one's reviewed your game yet, you can still update your builds before it gets reviewed. So if there's some last-minute fixes or anything you want to get in place, you can still do that. But yeah, that's kind of the major news at the moment. Actually, we had some good news today as well. Half Brick Games, makers of Jetpack Joyride and Fruit Ninja, just announced today that they will be bringing Age of Zombies to OUYA first on the console front. So expect that launching potentially as early as next week. So yeah, good times.
Cool, man.
All right, I got it to work. Booleans. Booleans. All right. So to be able to use Booleans, you need a closed loop, which means
of course,
a solid object with no holes in it. And basically what I was missing is if I had everything else, I have to make sure that it's sealed. And to do that, I would just merge the polygons so it thinks it's a single object. And now it knows that all these polygons are part of the same object. And now when I do the Boolean operation, I can select it, and it cut the holes in there. See?
Cool.
So now-
What did you do the first time? You merged vertices instead?
yeah, I did, but I had everything selected, so it probably thought everything
Gotcha.
part of the same object.
Of course he merged vertices, dude.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you just have to have one object selected instead of all of it.
Ah, yeah, that does. Totally. Someone's asking why you prefer Moto over Blender.
I find Blender's interface super counterintuitive. Like, it's the difference between, well, this is laid out more like Photoshop, where you have all your tools and tabs kind of over here, where Blender is to me, it's like you have to memorize all the keyboard shortcuts, and it's hard to find things. So I did start with Blender, and I used to use Blender for like putting bones on starships and stuff for where turrets would spawn and that kind of thing. But once I switched over to Moto, I had a way easier time. And the other reason is there's a lot of training material available for Moto that's professional quality that you can follow and do, like making your own sea creatures and your own mech warrior guys and a lot of good content.
Does Moto have a working cell fracture? Because Blender does not, says Josh.
Yeah, there is. There's one tutorial video where it's like a Captain America dude. He jumps off of a building, lands, and then this boulder shoots at him, and it breaks it apart in a bunch of different pieces. And in that part of the video where how they break apart the boulder, and you can put physics on the boulder pieces and tell it like how much glue to use so that when it has a certain amount of force that it hits an object, it explodes realistically for your movie. So yeah, it's got a whole shatter system.
Cool.
It's pretty neat. And they have a pretty good community. And when you're talking to people in their community, it's like, oh yeah, you're the guy that worked on the Transformers movie, and oh, you worked on Avengers? That's pretty cool.
Neat. Well, thanks for sharing, Tim.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask James a question. I don't know if he's following. Oh, hey.
I'll just unmute my microphone.
James just released a trailer. Right, James?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about such?
Yeah, well, this weekend I was at a demo party in the UK, and we released a nearly finished version of our game, a party build of our game Rocks, and part of that process I had to make a trailer. It's really rough and ready. I made it in like 2 hours in Windows Movie Maker at about 4 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, I think it shows the game off quite well. It sort of, you know, I tried to cover as much of it as I could. And yeah, there's an APK of this party build because we released it at a demo party. We have to have a build available for people to download. So we just plonked the APK for the party version in the description of the video. So you can download it and have a play. We've still got some work to do before we submit it to you guys. We want to add an achievement system, and I think Jamie is currently working on a Star Wars scroller for a hidden screen, but it's nearly done.
Cool. Then make sure you enable it everywhere.
Yes.
What did you say?
Make it available everywhere.
Available everywhere.
Or wherever you want.
Or
Just
wherever
somewhere.
you want. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be available. It will be on OUYA. It's going to be completely free, so yeah, potentially anyone with a OUYA can play it. We actually, interestingly, because we were talking about the Game Maker gamepad support last time I was on, we tried it on a bunch of other Android devices, and it works perfectly on the NVIDIA Shield, and all the button mapping is identical. And it also worked really well on a Nexus 7 with a USB adapter with a 360 controller plugged in. So we're pretty positive that it will work on pretty much any Android device that has a controller. But I haven't got any other ones apart from OUYA, so I can't tell. But but for now, we're just going to be releasing it on OUYA. So there you go.
Cool. Well, yeah, keep us up in the loop or whatever, and we'll help you get the word out when the time comes.
Yeah, well, we're probably going to submit it. If not the end of this week, it will probably be early next week. We basically nearly killed ourselves trying to finish it in time for the party deadline. So it was. I think Jamie's having like a bit of a break from it this week because I had to go to my wife had to go to a wedding, so I had to leave the party and look after my children. And in the meantime, Jamie was really struggling trying to finish some stuff that I hadn't given him all the information for. So it was really stressful, but it was a good party. It was it started on Friday about midday and finished on Sunday at about midday.
Whoa.
Yeah, so there was a lot of drinking. We slept on the floor in the party place, and it was a summer solstice here in the UK, which is the shortest night. So we all went down to the beach and set up a sound rig and had a party on the beach as well. So it was good fun.
Good times, man.
Yeah. So I think it's the first OUYA game to be released at a demo party actually. So there you go.
Yeah. Awesome. Hey Caleb. Caleb's new. Hello. You're on mute.
There we go. Hey, how's it going?
Hey man.
Hey, Caleb.
Do you know Caleb, Tim?
Yeah, he's like a Construct 2 guru. He's been helping me export from Construct 2 over to Chromium, where you can wrap it in a accelerated WebGL thing and put it on the OUYA. So we were getting controllers working and sound working and testing things out.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going pretty good. I'm actually it was just interesting though. The other day I was checking out one of the games on the OUYA, and it was this bus driver experience thing. So I think it's a relatively new game, but they managed. It has the Cocoon.js splash screen on it. So I've heard people. It says it supports it, but I'd never actually heard of anybody in the Construct 2 community successfully, making that bridge. So seeing that somebody actually has done it on the OUYA now gives me kind of some additional motivation to give that a try again and look closer into what might be, is going on. And most likely it's just like make sure the controllers work correctly, that they carry over. So yeah, but so that's basically been my goal, is just kind of come up with a path, because there's a lot of interest for the Construct 2 community, but up till now no one's actually quite made that leap. We were very close. Tim and I got a version working, but then we had joystick trouble, and then I'm totally an Ubuntu noob, so I've been stumbling left and right over files and using Git and all that stuff. It's just a lot of new things I'm having to try to sort out. So I'm trying to basically make that connection, and then once we get that sorted out, then hopefully it'll be something I can. My whole goal, I've got a lot of games I'd like to bring over. It's just a question of getting the initial first game working successfully with no audio lag or anything like that. So, so we're working through it. So Tim's been a great help.
Nice. Is there any reason why it's not playing very nice, or
I just don't know. I don't know. It's I've published to Android fine with it. Using Crosswalk through XDK, and that's been my sort of path to all the Android markets. That doesn't have an OUYA path, so that hasn't been obviously an option here. But Cocoon.js has been. I've seen it work with other stuff, but and then of course with like what Tim and I are doing, the Ubuntu Chromium sort of path, I'm so out of my element that I wouldn't even know where to begin. So as far as what's screwing up, right now I don't know what happened. I probably just changed some file or something, and now what happens is the app opens and closes right away. But Tim hooked me up with this the program to help compare files, so I can try and basically figure out what's different from the source ones and get that sorted out. So
what's the difference?
Yeah, that's a good tool. We use WinMerge to compare files. When a Android application starts, it starts with its first activity, and we just have to get that activity compiled in. And
it used to work. I must have changed. I don't know what it did. Honestly, it was just I'm using VMware, and of course it's sluggish. It's not like it's fast, and I don't have a dedicated machine. I'm running it. I don't know. It's kind of fun. I'm running it inside of a MacBook Pro in boot camp, so I'm running VMware. So but all in all, though, it's doing what it's supposed to. It's not like it's been unstable. But yeah, so I'm very excited about it. But like I said, I've been wanting to get something on the OUYA for a long time, and I've got a lot of ideas of projects I'd like to really focus on. Being able to take advantage of a controller versus touchscreen, which of course most of my games have been web / touch mouse driven. So to make a game that can really use a control panel or a joystick would be really awesome.
Oh. Alex had a bad question.
I don't know. I was just looking up. We had. It looks like we've got 2 other games also that are Cocoon.js or Construct 2.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that was just the one I'd come across. I obviously haven't played them all.
Yeah.
I'm trying to reach out to the guy himself to ask him how he did it, because my big question is how did he get the in-app purchase stuff working? I mean, I'm not saying he used Construct 2, but for the most part, once you export the project from Construct, it's just an HTML5 project pretty much. It's not like it's a proprietary file format or anything. It's all just JavaScript and whatnot.
It looks like there's one Bullet Waltz is another game that did it, and then Jumping Submarine.
Is that a Flappy game?
A Florpy game. It's a Flappy clone.
Florpy.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Well, maybe they are using.
You said Bullet Bounce, and what was the other one? I'm sorry.
It's called Bullet Waltz. Like a
dance.
Like a dance. A waltz.
Oh, okay, got it. Bullet Waltz, okay. Got it. Cool.
And Jumping Submarine.
No.
They're probably free.
Although I will say, they may not have figured out the IAP stuff.
We're going to get that working. So with Construct 2, it can do AJAX calls, and I'll be working with Caleb to make sure that those AJAX calls call into the Java side and do the in-app purchase stuff.
Cool.
And like you said, we did get it working. We got his game to launch. Like the controllers were working. It was just he had to tap on it to get his game focused, and then the controllers were fine and the music was playing. So we just had one small detail, so we're going back to a previous version, which was working, and then when we modified one thing that messed it all up. So we just have to go back through and find that, and then it should be good again.
Cool.
Exactly.
So. You're getting a congrats, Caleb, for journeying into the world of Linux. Welcome.
Yeah, totally. I've been torturing him with Linux, but he's been doing.
Yeah, it's cool. Well, it's kind of off subject, but still, I've talked to Tim about this a little bit. So, the Tizen platform is coming in the near future, and I was able to get my hands on a test phone. But again, turns out I need to flash the BIOS and update the operating system and stuff, and all of that has to be done through Ubuntu. So I'm like, oh my God, how am I even doing this? So it's so it's kind of cool. So another opportunity to kind of get more familiar with the Linux environment, and so it's cool.
Nice.
Any more questions?
I know there's no questions right now. Sorry, I got lost in Alex. Just staring at him. Phil, did you see we put Super Pixalo in the latest OUYA Presents?
I did. Thank you so much. I didn't see it until yesterday because my wife gave birth to a little baby. There you go.
Hey.
Oh, was that all?
Yeah, that's it. And it just put everything. I have now a week's worth of just stuff I'm catching up on, and I saw that. No, over the weekend. I saw that over the weekend, and it made me super, super happy. So thank you guys for putting that in there. That was really cool. And the update I am actually going to be sending in later today that adds timers, and there'll be now you can compete for times and stuff like that. It all gets stored online, and I got to figure out how to do leaderboards in a future update on the game that's looks interesting enough. But yeah, that's a design thing.
Yeah. Can I still do the pause exploit?
The what?
The pause button exploit?
The timer keeps going when it's paused, and that's so you can use the pause exploit, but it's still incrementing the time. So there are cases where if you want to pause it to line it up, it may save you some time rather than either crashing or jumping into a electrical voltage thingy or something else. So Yeah, there's still some ways to exploit it. I might do a video sometime soon of different ways to kind of beat the system in a way. And yeah, I just gotta have the time for it. So this week, I still have another. This is my second week I have off work that I can work on all my other little stuff and get back into being awake and stuff like that.
Cool. It's really loud in the hallway. Sorry, I'm muting.
I think I've done it. Now if I hide my cut.
Bob just got
I've Booleaned Bob the text right into the side of this mountain.
Brilliant. Make it in real life. Question from Josh. What's the most effective way of increasing frame rate on Unity 3D?
Fill rate.
Fill rate. It's your Phil Royer rate.
Okay, so what I do is you make a performance counter that measures the frames per second rate, and then you turn things on and you turn things off, and you measure like what each object has, how it impacts your performance, and then you basically isolate your bottlenecks and then figure out how to optimize those. So that's the best way to go about it.
What's it? So, how difficult is it to make a performance counter?
Pretty easy. There's tons of examples in the wiki, but basically you count how many times it renders in a second, and that's your performance counter. So there's like an on-render event. You just add one every time it renders, and then at the end of a second you reset the counter, and you display that on a label.
And fill rate, right?
And fill rate.
Agreed.
We concur.
Yeah.
Alright.
I can ask Cohen what's up with Shadowlight.
So I'm working on this new level. Wait, can I show this?
Yeah.
Screen sharing, screen sharing, screen sharing.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh.
So yeah, this is the level I'm working on right now. So I also have. Let me see. This level.
All right, so Cohen's done a lot of things in Unity. Like, I think you've written your own collision system, right?
Well, the collision in Unity is pretty terrible. So I created some of the things on my own. I don't use rigid bodies because rigid bodies are pretty useless for platformers. Because they don't act as they should in Unity. And
this is Shadowlight.
This is the Titan Temple DLC. These levels will be playable somewhere next week if you bought the donation thing in the OUYA store. So yeah, I also have this level.
And then you did a lot of your own shaders.
Yeah, that too. Shit, it doesn't work. Okay, let me try again. I had that problem earlier, but I don't know what it is. I have the key now, so it doesn't work. Okay.
So if you ever
I'll
want to
fix
find,
it. I'll fix it.
if you ever want to find bugs in your game, just do a live demo, and they'll all show up. Like,
Yes. Yep. Or hand it to a game streamer. Like, here's an early build. It shouldn't have any bugs, and they'll find every single bug you can ever find.
Yeah. The release the demo I will release next week is also a pre-release, so for people to try, and I will release it later on in the OUYA store. So yeah, that was what I had to show. I'm not gonna show all the secrets or something.
He's still out.
Great. So that was it.
Cool.
Cool, man. Are rigid bodies very expensive?
Not that expensive.
Right, it just depends on the collider you're using. So if you're using a mesh collider, that's more expensive than using a box collider or sphere collider.
For a low poly mesh, it doesn't really matter. But if you have high polys in video games for normal PCs or something, you mostly have better models, and then it's more expensive.
Are you guys
But
using
it's more accurate too.
Are you using expensive like not the traditional use of the word expensive?
Expensive like for frame rate.
Yes. That's what I figured.
That kind of expensive.
Cool.
Okay, and I just made a sphere with Bob on it.
It's a bob ball.
And obviously Booleans work just fine.
Yeah.
Now.
Let's make Marble Madness. Hey, Alex. Alex is back, everybody.
Hey.
Oh man, I'm out of stuff to talk about. I don't know if you guys have anything to talk about. Sometimes
I was thinking about doing a face here now. So like, instead of cutting Bob, I can use the pen tool and make a face.
While Tim does that, I have a correction from what I said earlier. The game is Big Action Mega Fight, or BAMF for short. I think I said like Super Awesome Mega Fight. I didn't want to do the Double Stallion team injustice with that title, but that'll be out tomorrow. Sorry.
excellent correction.
Maybe the greatest correction.
It illustrates your commitment to excellence. This is important what you're doing here, Tim.
It's frightening.
I thought you said it's Friday. I was like, is it?
No,
It's not.
it's the opposite of Friday.
It's the first day. Winter is coming. Look at that.
And as I learned from before, make sure you're in Polygon, merge your shape, click on the object you want to Boolean on, mesh edit, Boolean, yay!
You should sell this to Disney. This is awesome.
This is premium art. There we go. He's got a tail going on.
How much would occlusion culling work with increasing the frame rate?
That's a good question, Bob. Oh wait, it wasn't from me.
Yeah, I didn't ask it. Josh did. Josh asks really great questions.
Yeah, like occlusion culling, that would take a custom shader and a custom map, right? So like you've got all your different channels and you generate a occlusion map, and then you're going to need a shader to handle that. I wouldn't think it's any more expensive than just doing a regular like bump map shader, like adding that as a pass or whatever. So it's going to depend on how many times it has to render those many pixels.
Cool.
Have you used any occlusion mapping or masking or?
I haven't. You're not asking me. You're asking.
Wait. Occlusion. Wait. Let me look. Yeah, occlusion culling. Yeah, but that's just hiding objects. I mean, or the.
Right. Well, there's cool occlusion culling, which just like anything the camera can't see, it gets culled. So if you're not rendering something, then you don't have a performance impact because it didn't render it. But then they have maps for like models with holes in them and stuff, so that light can go through it, like a cape or something. And if a cape had holes in it, it would probably have a map on it for occlusion.
Yeah. But it doesn't really increase the performance that much. I tried it, but with different sizes also. So, but I don't notice a lot of performance change.
Well, cool. I'm gonna play the food game now because we're almost out of time. So, are you ready to do this?
Mm-hmm.
So everyone lists off the food that they ate this last week, and whoever ate the most awesome thing is the winner. Starting with Matt. Bring it, Matt. Get excited. This is it, man. It's your time.
I went to a wedding on Saturday, and the hors d'oeuvres were absolutely amazing. There was like a goat cheese smoked salmon ball thing.
What?
There was brie with pear inside of a phyllo.
Pick one thing, man. Pick one.
I'm saying appetizers, the group of appetizers.
Okay.
And then there was...
He's a cheater.
No, you're cheating. You're... Okay, so you're... Okay.
It was really good.
All right. Alex.
Are you eating wood chips?
No one brought
Yeah,
this
it was
working.
Vegetarian chili with like a cool vegetarian quesadilla with some nice cheese in it.
You did chili last week.
I did, but this is different chili. I didn't make this. Someone else made it.
I've
been eating a lot of chili.
I had a soft shell crab, and it's like basically you're eating a bug.
I'm out of here, guys.
Big bug. So that was weird. Next up is Caleb.
Let's see. I can't think of anything too exotic I've had. Who was I talking to recently though? I was
It has to be within the week. And it
Yes. Okay.
It could be
It
doesn't have to be exotic.
Yeah, I guess I would have to say that I had. Well, the other night, so it was funny. I went out, hung out with a buddy of mine from Cincinnati who was in town on business, and it turned out to be a business thing too, which was funny because he's hanging out with a bunch of his coworkers. So, yeah, so we were downtown Boston, and I had some really great pizza, and I guess that's what that'll be my story. This one.
Pizza's the best food ever.
What kind of pizza?
There was a sausage, pepperoni. I had a slice of cheese. I think I had 4 slices total, so it was I had a lot. But yes, the pepperoni was awesome.
Cohen, you're up.
I graduated, so I had champagne. Yeah, yeah, thanks. So I had champagne and cake.
Oh, there he is.
And it was really good cake, so with my face on it.
So far, it's Cohen's graduation against what I think will be Phil Royer's new birth. We'll see who wins. James.
Hiya. I've got nothing to add to this conversation. I've been really happy this week because of I've just been really busy. I do have a question though. I've noticed that some of the questions that pop up on the side, some of them get deleted, and one of them got deleted that I would like to know the answer to.
What's that?
Well, I don't want to cause any problems or anything, so please don't ban me from the chat. But I noticed someone was asking about Towerfall, and I know that Matt has said that you guys are dealing with the ports. Is that correct, or?
So the question was, when is it coming? So yeah, I deleted that because it was just not relevant to dev support stuff.
Okay, fine, that's okay.
But it's basically, I mean, the answer that I know is when it's done.
It is actually being done then?
Do you know anything more than that, Gerard Depardieu?
I'd have to double check on that. It's definitely coming though, and as was mentioned before, some people were asking on Twitter if you've bought the game before. The Ascension update will be free, and I think actually the price is still going to remain the same with the update anyway. So no one's going to get charged more. It's not extra DLC you got to pay for any of that stuff. So, but it's definitely coming. So it'll be parity with what you see on PS4 right now.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, there was also the question about Pure Solar, and I just didn't know the answer to that one. But it's, yeah. Sorry. How does occlusion culling actually work? All I know is that it only shows meshes in the view.
Well, it's supposed to be automatic. So in any object that the camera can't see, it won't draw. But if you have a custom script attached to it, then it's going to draw it anyways. So just make sure that and there's something in the wiki and in the documentation, a little snippet of code that can test if the camera can see your object, and then you can manually turn it off if you want to get more performance out of it.
Cool. Hey, Tim.
Yeah, so if you remember last week, my sponsor, Campbell's Chicken Gumbo, I made a small dent in my palette of chicken gumbo this week.
So
that's probably about 9 or 10 cans. So I'm still working on the shipment I got for that sponsorship.
Would a reflection shader be heavy on the OUYA, or does it depend on how I make it?
Well, I mean, depends on how you do the reflection shader. You can fake reflections by using like a HDR image or using your skybox, and then using that as like a texture source. Or you could use a render texture or a second camera that looks at the reflections.
So you have to sort of hack it though, like whatever he's asking is basically no.
Well, I mean, there's reflections out there. Like, there's plugins that you can use, probably even built-in shaders. I haven't used it too much, but and
if you download the Angry Birds demo, it's included.
Right.
The
so
reflections.
the
But that's
Angry Birds demo
linear,
is part of every
linear
Unity install.
reflections. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
That's
I was just saying.
reflection.
We have a delay. All right, go ahead.
Okay. You have planar reflections, and you have you can render to a cube map. But when you render to a cube map, you have to render it 6 times, and planar reflection is just 1 time.
So planar reflections would be faster than cube map.
Yeah. Because you render it, you have a surface, and then you have a camera above it, and basically what you do is you mirror the camera below the plane. And then, yeah.
Josh says that a second camera slows down the frame rate a lot. He tried it before.
Well, technically,
7 frame rate.
Technically you can use multiple cameras and it won't slow down your frame rate at all if you mess around with the viewport settings. Like, I did this one prototype where I wanted, if you played like the early Mario demos where it like wrapped around, I used 2 different cameras to, and I just kind of swap out which one is which, so that when your character hits the edge of the screen, like he gets a mirror reflection and appears on the other side. And because I cut the screen up into like quads, I didn't get any performance impact because it's still the same number of pixels. So, but you're saying you get a slower frame rate because you're using a different camera that's rendering more geometry, and that's possible. It just depends on what your camera's facing. And so for that, I use a lot of the culling masks. So every object in your scene can have a tag and a layer that it uses, and you can tell the camera which of those tags to render. So anytime I use a second camera, I make sure it's got its own different set of tags, so the main camera isn't also rendering the same stuff, so that it doesn't impact your performance.
We should get Josh on next video, and maybe we could like just dive right into something.
Yeah, he had a multiplayer APK I was going to try out, but he's still working on it, so maybe next week.
Okay. Cool. Well, we're getting to that time, so Jared, really quickly.
You want the foods.
Quick,
Okay.
Jared.
Yeah, all right. So yesterday was salmon eggs Benedict on a croissant with hollandaise sauce, with potatoes gratin, and fruits, and hazelnut latte, and a side of French toast, which was made out of a smashed croissant with berries inside it. It's pretty good stuff.
That sounds terrible. Seafood and Benedict. The only thing that Benedict goes on is eggs.
Well, no, well, there was eggs. It was eggs on top of salmon, on top of the croissant with the hollandaise sauce. So it was all that together. There was also Canadian bacon as well, for those who wanted it.
Oh my God. Phil.
I had this cheeseburger casserole. So Callie made all these meals like 3 weeks ago, and so they were, we just pop them in the oven and cook them now, and no one has to worry about cooking because I'm not a good cook and she is, and she doesn't want to eat my food. So she made this thing that's really awesome because it's like on the bottom is like a bread base, and then the next layer is the meat, next layer is the cheese, and then I think there's a little bit more meat on top. So it's like eating a cheeseburger, but it's all like, just stacked, like 3 layers, and it tastes just like a cheeseburger, and it's awesome.
Lasagna, pretty much.
Yeah. Which is like spaghetti cake.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's lasagna. It's like a cheeseburger lasagna with no noodles.
Oh man, okay. Get out of here.
I would eat that for sure.
Yeah, I'd eat it.
And a bun. Yeah. Oh, it tastes so good.
Come over.
Yeah, it's over, man.
Speaking of cake, I made
He's not gonna invite us over.
That's cool. Whatever.
Speaking of cake, I made an angel food cake, but it turned out to be terrible because apparently there's a pan in the angel food cake pan you're supposed to use, and it makes it taste way better.
Yeah, it's the heats evenly.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. That's my favorite cake. I have it every birthday.
Oh, that's sweet. Is that like pound cake?
Yeah.
It's the opposite.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a hole in the middle, but it's not like pound cake.
Oh,
it's like best of both worlds. It's like a cake, but also a donut.
It's like a bunt cake. Josh says, "Can I join this? I had an Australian burger." Yeah, he keeps telling us he had an Australian burger. Yes, Australian burger. Josh, you gotta come on the video next week, man. And Josh is in with the Australian burger, but I'm going to give the win. Did I go?
Yeah,
I did.
It was terrible.
What did I say?
I don't remember.
Oh.
You said you ate some chili as well, I thought.
I didn't say that.
No, I didn't. No.
Well, I know you had chili, but I thought, Bob, you said you had chili too.
Oh no, I ate a whole crab's.
Oh, you ate that.
Oh, that's right. You said it tastes like it was like eating a cockroach.
Yeah, that's weird. So I didn't win.
Oh, gross.
I'm gonna give the win. I think this is his first ever win to Cohen. Congratulations.
Yay!
Graduation.
Nice.
Second place is to Phil.
Yeah, for sure.
With 80 bonus points.
And Jared.
And then Jared.
I feel honored.
Always bringing home the medal is Jared.
I get diabetes.
On that note, it's been wonderful. It's lunchtime over here. I'm starving, so I'm going to go. But I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. Mr. Caleb Garner. Cohen Hacking.
Hey, boy.
James, I keep forgetting. Monkman.
Cheers.
Jerry Digger. Philippe Blair.
Yo.
Matt.
Yep, close those loops for booleans.
Booleans. And everyone else in the video game world.
Womp womp.
No, stop it. Great.
Alright, bye guys.
Bye.
See ya.